We start the 7 o'clock hour with a shooting involving deputies in Douglas County. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Drew Carney. 9 News reporter Courtney Yoon joins us live from where it happened near Santa Fe and County Line Road. So Courtney, do you have any new information on this investigation?
No new information at this point, Corey and Drew. In this area, the scene behind me, it's clear now in an area that's usually pretty quiet. Just after 8:30 last night, Douglas County deputies received a bulletin from the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office to be on the lookout for an armed carjacking suspect. Deputies eventually located the suspected vehicle and attempted to organize a stop, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Now, officials say the suspect immediately fled and a pursuit began, going all over Highlands Ranch and ending on Santa Fe just north of C-470. During the incident, deputies tried to disable the vehicle. According to Sheriff Darren Weekly, the suspect began ramming the vehicles and one deputy was hit by a car. That deputy has minor injuries and was treated at a local hospital. Then the suspect fired at deputies through the windshield of the suspect vehicle. One deputy returned fire, according to the sheriff's office. The suspect driver was shot. He has injuries but is expected to survive.
I want to stress that suspect began firing, and I just looked at the crime scene. Suspect began firing from the inside of his vehicle, trying to kill our deputies. So again, we're very fortunate that it wasn't more serious than it was.
A suspect or a passenger inside the suspect vehicle was also taken into custody, and Sheriff Weekly says there will be significant charges for the driver, including attempted murder of a police officer. No names of the people involved have been released yet, and we don't know anything about the carjacking victim. At this time, Littleton police are helping to assist with this investigation. Live in Littleton, Courtney Yoon, 9 News.
All right, thank you, Courtney. We're also learning about another shooting that involved officers up in the high country.
And because of the shooting, there are some roadblocks as well. We want to head over to Brianna Fernandez with the latest. Brianna?
Hey, good morning, Drew and Corey. I've been talking about this closure, this major closure happening in both directions of I-70 since early this morning. Now we just got brand new information from the sheriff's office. If you're heading out the door, we know that this is an officer-involved shooting and there's a shelter in place that remains. Now, this started early this morning. You can see where we're seeing that purple shaded area. That is that massive closure right now, both east and westbound I-70 between Eagle County and all the way to Glenwood Springs is shut down for that morning drive. Here in the Denver metro area, we're also following a major crash right now for those heading out the door. I want to zoom into southbound I-25 near Thornton Parkway. If you're heading southbound, it is going to take you about 40 minutes this morning, and that's because a crash involving multiple vehicles basically has caused a mess out on the roads. Right now, we are seeing parking lot conditions for those taking southbound I-25. Again, those speed times are slowing down to 16 miles per hour. Up north, Fort Collins and that Greeley commute still in the clear, but let's show you that crash along southbound I-25 and Thornton Parkway. Sky 9 right now giving us a live look of that area. That express lane, that left lane, and partially that center lane is closed. That right lane is the only lane that's open at the moment. Earlier this morning, when Sky 9 was zooming into all of those vehicles involved and all of them sitting in that express lane, I counted about 4 to 5 vehicles. Unclear if anyone was taken to the hospital, but let's show you right now our CDOT cameras. A closer look of that parking lot conditions that we're seeing along southbound I-25 and Thornton Parkway. Again, you do not want to take this area. It is a messy start to your Tuesday morning. You could see it right here where we're seeing crews blocking that express lane and that left lane. We are seeing tow trucks there on scene, so hopefully that means that they can clear this up very soon and then reopen I-25. But again, if you're taking southbound I-25, it is going to take you about 40 minutes. You do not want to be in this mess right now, so try to avoid it for that Tuesday morning commute.
Yikes, huge holdup for drivers in that area. Brianna, thank you so much. If you have a moment at 7:04, take a look at this sunrise. Absolutely stunning this morning over Denver. Clouds are in the sky and the sun rising. It's beautiful, it's colorful, and temperatures relatively mild. We're at 41 degrees currently downtown. Winds relatively calm. We'll stay under a partly to mostly cloudy sky with very unseasonably warm temperatures returning once again. Another view from our VR wireless camera of the sun coming up out near Burlington. Really pretty start to our Tuesday and overall very quiet. No advisories, watches, warnings to tell you about here across Colorado. It is chilly in spots, so we're starting off in the 30s to low 40s. Kids at the bus stop want that warm coat, but later on today, highs will top out around 60 degrees. You'll be able to shed a layer. Temperatures typically this time of the year are in the 40s for highs. Today we will be well above that. We're right now at 42 degrees out at Denver International Airport. Still cold in the mountains, some single digits and teens in Fort Collins sitting right around freezing. But later on today, low 60s return, a high of 62 degrees expected, and the record is 69. Now we do have the chance for a little precipitation in the forecast in spots, not for Denver, but the mountains and portions of the plains. I'll take you through the extended forecast coming up.
Katie, thank you. On Monday, Barry Morphew pleaded not guilty to murder in the death of his wife, Suzanne. He was arraigned in Alamosa County. This is the second time Morphew faces a potential murder trial. He was first arrested in 2021, almost a year after Suzanne's disappearance from her home in Chaffee County. The charges were dropped in 2022 after the prosecution mishandled the case. Suzanne's remains were found the next year in Saguache County. Prosecutors say new evidence from the autopsy tied Barry to a tranquilizer found in Suzanne's bone marrow. A grand jury indicted Barry Morphew last June. He is currently out of jail on bond, and he is due back in court in March.
Minnesota and its Twin Cities are suing the Trump administration to limit a federal immigration enforcement operation in the state. The lawsuit says the operation violates constitutional rights, including the First Amendment, and it also seeks a temporary restraining order. This comes as protests take place around Minnesota after an ICE officer shot and killed Renee Good last week. Good was from Colorado Springs. The Trump administration says her car was used as a weapon against an ICE agent, but local leaders dispute that, saying the officer was not run over. A memorial where Good was killed continues to grow.
People in Good's hometown are also remembering her. Yesterday, students walked out of Coronado High School, where Good graduated. Students protested the recent ICE operations in Minnesota and other states. Organizers say word about the protests got out using social media. They joined a number of communities across Colorado that also staged protests.
Tina Peters' legal team will take their fight to get her out of prison to a state appeals court this week, hoping to turn a symbolic presidential pardon that can't touch state charges into a real release. Peters is serving a 9-year sentence for scheming to tamper with election systems in search of President Trump's false claims of election fraud. The president said he pardoned her, but doesn't have the power to free her since she was convicted on state charges. Peters' inmate record shows that her mandatory release date is set for February of 2033. Currently, she'll be eligible for parole on December 20th of 2028, but that could move earlier every single month.
The longer an inmate is incarcerated in the DOC, the closer their parole eligibility date comes, as long as they've been behaving themselves.
Governor Jared Polis says he'll look at giving Peters clemency like any other inmate, which is what he's been saying for months now.
Tonight, Kersey leaders are once again discussing the town's $340 photo ticket radar tickets as the town board of trustees will consider a new ordinance. The board voted to pause the tickets after our Steve Steger reported they violated the town's speed camera ordinance. At the time, the ordinance capped fines at $40. Town leaders will consider a new ordinance tonight. The meeting starts at 6 p.m.